Hello everyone and welcome to my channel EE&CS Made Easy. So today we'll be starting a new video on the second video actually in the software testing playlist. So we will be discussing the principles of testing in this video. There are actually seven principles of testing, and we will learn what are they basically, and we will also learn why these are really important. I'll briefly explain each and every principle of testing. So watch this video till the end, and because these principles are really important in terms of interview. When the interviewer can ask you if you are applying for any software testing based job. So the interviewer can ask you, tell him the principles of testing. So let's dig into it. The first is that why we need to know these principles of testing. The main and the most important objective of knowing these principles is that these principles are taken into consideration while the software testing team are making the methodology or the process for the software testing. So these principles are also always there in the minds of the software testing team when they are testing a software, and based on these principles efforts are made to manage the client expectations. So let's dig into it. What are these seven principles of testing? These are the seven testing principles: early testing, testing shows presence of defects, and so on. So let's start from the first one, the early testing. So the first principle of the testing is that we should start our testing phase as early as possible. Why this is important? This is important because this saves us a lot of time. If we find the bug early in the system or in our software, then and we correct it in the early stage, so then it will be good for us for and saves us a lot of time rather than correcting it at the end, and going over all the code again and fixing the effects of that bug on the other code. So early testing, I'll give you an example for that. Let's say we are making an app, and there's a let's say there's a hole in it where the cyber crime can take place. Someone can hack that um, app. So if we detect that hole, or you can say that defect or bug in the very beginning, then we can it will be really good for us. But if we detect it at the end stages, then it will cost us a lot of time also, because based on that bug or defect, the rest of the code is based. So then we have to change all the code, the side effects of that bug on the rest of the code. So it is really important that we should start testing, and this is there in the minds of the software testing team, that we should start testing as early as possible. The second principle is the obvious one, that testing will definitely show some presence of defects. So the software testing team knows that when they will test the software, there will be some defects, and they need to report it back to the developer teams. Exhaustive testing is impossible. By exhaustive testing, we means if there are thousands of variables that we have to check for, let's say, for particular function, then we cannot check the thousands function. We will test for few functions, and we will assume that the rest of the variables are also working for that function. uh, just to give you a quick example for that, let's say if we have a e-commerce website, and if there are thousands of product there, and when you click on a product to add to the cart, so we cannot check for each and every product that whether it is added to the cart or not when we click on the add to cart icon. So we need to check for a few of them, and then we will assume that okay, if it's working for a few of them, then it should work for the all of the other items. Sorry. So the fourth principle is absence of error is a fallacy. So this is there in the mind of testing team, that it's not compulsory that after finding the defect and after correcting them, your software is 100% error free. So it can never your software can never be 100% defect or bugs free. There can be defects. So this is there in the minds of testing team, and they try to minimize the bugs or defects so that they could meet the client or user expectation. The fifth one is the testing is context dependent. This is a really obvious one, that let's say if we have a software that is made for the, let's say, navigation of the airplane, and let's say we have another software that someone wants to make it for its own, like let's say a blog or something. So the testing of the airplane one, airplane software would be really, more testing will be done, and deep analysis will be done, and the testing team will try to make it, although it cannot made it 100% defect free, but it will try to make it as defect free as possible, and a lot of testing will be done. But in terms of the blog one, the let's say we should be, the testing team knows that okay, the cruciality of that software is not that much important, so they will do some few testing. They will test for a few variables, and they will say okay, this, if it is working for this, then it should work for the other. So it depends on the context of the software, that if you're working with any crucial software, if you're working on any crucial software that that the customer wants, then we will do more testing, and if it's not that much crucial, then we will do less testing. The sixth one is the pesticide paradox. What we mean by pesticide paradox, that we cannot use the same test cases again and again for for detecting new bugs or defects. I'll give a short example for that. Let's say we have a software, and we created some tests, and based on those tests, so we find some defects or bugs. We report it back to the developer team, and the developer team fixes those defects or bugs and give us the new version of the software. So now we cannot use the same test cases again for detecting new bugs. We need to have new test cases for finding new bugs or defects. So pesticide paradox means that we need to have new test cases for a new version of the software. We cannot use the same test cases that were used previously. The last one is the defect clustering. What we mean by defect clustering is that the number of defects in different modules of the software will not be constant. Like let's say if we have a software, it has three modules: module 1, module 2, and module 3. So let's say if a module 1 has 5 defects, module 2, then module 2 and module 3 will not have 5 defects also, and module 3 will also not have 5 defects. So it's not uniform throughout. The defect clustering is not uniform. In each module you will find different number of defects, and it will be random. There is no definite relationship between the defects in different modules. So defect clustering is, in a single sentence, I would say that the number of defects in different modules of the software is random. It's not constant in each module. So these are the 7 testing principles. These are really important in terms of interview. Please learn it by heart, because these are the basics, fundamentals of testing. When we will go deep into the manual testing and test automation in future videos, we will take these principles into consideration while designing our test cases. So this is it for this video. In the next video, we will learn about the software development life cycle. So stay tuned. Please subscribe my channel. Hit a like, hit the like icon if you like my videos. So see you in the next video. Thank you.